There's a special kind of magic that arrives when the air begins to cool and sunlight takes on that warm, golden hue. The garden, once bursting with the untamed energy of summer, now softens into a quiet symphony of color and calm. Each leaf seems to hold a story, each flower a memory. As you step outside, the crisp breeze carries a faint whisper of change, a reminder that October has gracefully stepped into the garden's rhythm. This season isn't about perfection, it's about transformation. The vibrant greens of summer slowly melt into copper, crimson, and amber, painting every corner with a richness that feels almost poetic. There's something deeply grounding about walking through your garden at this time of year, where every rustling leaf underfoot reminds you that nature is both an artist and a storyteller. As we wander through today's garden tour, you'll notice how October brings its own design palette. Dahlias stand proud, their blooms deep and velvety, while late roses still cling to life, defying the early morning chill. The air feels alive with possibility, inviting you to slow down, breathe deeply, and rediscover the quiet beauty hiding between the fading petals and ripening seed pods. Beneath the fading blooms, something remarkable happens. The soil, cool and moist, begins its preparation for the next season. Bulbs are quietly settling in, ready to sleep through winter before bursting forth in spring. This is the hidden rhythm of a garden in October, a gentle pause, not an ending. Every root, every leaf that falls, plays a role in the cycle of renewal. Move a little closer to the borders, and you'll see asters in full glory, tiny stars shining against the fading greens. They attract the last of the bees, who hum softly between petals, savoring what's left before the frost arrives. It's a gentle reminder that even in endings, there's beauty and purpose. The garden isn't fading, it's evolving. Now let's step toward the vegetable patch, where the season's final harvest waits like hidden treasure. Pumpkins glow under their broad leaves, their orange skins deepening with every cool night. The kale stands tall, resilient and lush, while the herbs, especially rosemary and thyme, release their strongest fragrances as the temperatures drop. There's a rustic satisfaction in this part of the garden, a sense of gratitude that comes from nurturing something with your own hands. You can almost feel time slowing down here. The frantic pace of summer gardening gives way to a more mindful rhythm, collecting, pruning, tidying, and reflecting. Every small act feels intentional, cutting back old growth to make way for the new, gathering seeds for next year, brushing soil from your gloves after a long, peaceful day. This is the gardener's version of meditation, a quiet conversation with the earth. And as the golden hour light spills over the garden, everything glows differently. The ornamental grasses sway in the breeze, their feathery plumes catching the sun like strands of silver. The pathways look softer, the shadows longer, the air sweeter. You realize this is the season when your garden truly feels alive, not in a loud, bursting way, but in a serene, soulful way that fills you with gratitude. In one corner, perhaps near the fence or under a tree, fallen leaves create a natural tapestry. Each color, burnt orange, deep maroon, pale gold, blends into a pattern no artist could ever replicate. Don't rush to clear them away, let them tell their story. They shelter tiny creatures, nourish the soil, and add texture to the scene. Sometimes, the beauty of October lies not in what you add to your garden, but in what you allow nature to create on its own. As evening approaches, soft light filters through the trees, and the garden transforms again. The world becomes quieter, the colors deeper, the air sharper. You may light a few lanterns or candles, letting their gentle glow dance among the plants. This is when the garden feels most intimate, like a secret space where time stands still and nature invites you to linger just a little longer. Each corner holds a story worth remembering: the worn garden bench, still warm from the day's sun, the climbing vines, gently curling as if they, too, are preparing to rest, the sound of distant birds calling good night. October is more than just a month, it's a feeling. A moment between abundance and stillness, between blooming and resting. If you look closely, you'll see how nature teaches patience and renewal here. The fading petals are not signs of loss but of transition. The cooling air isn't a farewell, it's an invitation to rest, to prepare, to trust that spring will return. Gardening in October is an act of faith, a belief that even in decline, there's beauty worth celebrating. So take this moment to appreciate your garden as it is right now. Not as it was in full bloom, and not as it will be when life returns in spring, but as it stands in this golden in-between. Every fallen leaf, every shifting shadow, tells you that nature never truly stops creating, it simply changes its pace. You might feel inspired to add a few touches for the season: a rustic wreath on your gate made of dried hydrangeas and twigs, a few pumpkins near your pathway, maybe even a cozy outdoor chair draped with a warm blanket where you can sip tea and watch the sunset. These little additions transform your October garden into a living sanctuary, a space not just to admire but to feel deeply connected to. That's the beauty of October. It's not just a time for harvesting, it's a time for reflection. A season that teaches us to find elegance in imperfection, peace in transition, and gratitude in every change. The garden doesn't need to shout to be beautiful, it simply exists, quietly reminding us that every season has its own kind of wonder. So, as you close your garden gate tonight, take one last look. The air might be cooler, the blooms fewer, but what remains is something even more precious: a sense of harmony between what was, what is, and what's yet to come. October reminds us that endings are not losses, they're transformations. And just like your garden, you too are growing, changing, and blooming in your own time.